Hello, and welcome to the Penguins Collective Podcast. My name is Louie,
My name is Josh,
and we're two brothers who love to talk about hockey.
especially the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Those Pittsburgh Penguins have been busy in the last couple days. As we all know, July 1st at 12 p.m., the frenzy known as the NHL free agency starts, and the Penguins were quiet for the first few hours. Okay, I would say until 3 o'clock.
Yeah, 3, 4
Penguins
o'clock.
really didn't make any moves. Started, if you hop on our Discord, which is Discord/the Penguins Collective, you would know that we were all freaking out that nothing has been done. Meanwhile, Nashville decided to go all in on the Stanley Cup all of a sudden. They're signing everyone. And the Penguins have made finally some things. Crosby is still not extended as of July 2nd at 8 p.m., but hopefully this will get done. Kyle Dubas has been making a lot of progress in the last 24 hours. How long has it been since July 1st?
Yeah, about 36,
30,
maybe?
36 hours? I'm not good with
24.
time. So 24,
it's actually been about 32 hours.
32 hours. Kyle Dubas has had a busy 32 hours, just as much as everyone else in the NHL. And the Penguins, like I said, were kind of late to the party, but still have gotten some things done. We are going to go over the Pittsburgh Penguins free agency signings. Josh, before we get into the people, the great players we've signed, what do you grade the Penguins' work so far in the last 32 hours?
Yeah, it's hard because you have to be realistic about what this offseason was going to be. We weren't going to get any of the big guys, any of the big names that were out there, that Nashville essentially scooped up. But, we were looking for some solid bottom six forwards as well as some defensemen in order to just retool in hopes to, contend again. And Kyle Dubas did have a press conference after day one of free agency, just essentially saying that, looking to get younger and faster, but didn't really do that. But also, he was talking a whole bunch of stuff. But at the end of the day, he did his job. Okay, he did his job. He got guys, he got bodies for the bottom six, as well as defensemen, as well as replenishing the prospect pool and just straight up just AHL players. So don't be hating me on this grade, but C+. C+.
I like that, actually. My initial reaction to that is, how dare you? But then I'm realizing you were actually very generous in that grade.
Yes.
So
I think so too.
I think if you guys said I know there's no such, is there such thing as a D+? If there is, that's kind of what I would say. I mean, listen, we reshaped a non-playoff team into a non-playoff team once again. That's kind of how I feel. Like we did.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good way to put it.
We did not automatically get into the playoffs from last year's roster. We just reshaped it to another, will we make the playoffs or will we not make the playoffs? That's kind of where I feel as of right now. Now, free agency isn't done. There are still notable names out there that we could get that could help this team. But as of right now, day 2 of free agency has ended. And honestly, I'm not too convinced that the Pittsburgh Penguins are making the playoffs as of right now. Now, Wilkes-Barre looks pretty good right now. Actually, if you're coming in from an AHL perspective, we did pretty good. Wilkes-Barre has gotten some good guys. They have a new coach to direct them. I think AHL is taken care of, but now let's kind of focus on the NHL. Josh, do you want to go into the AHL kind of deals that we signed to
Sure.
get them out of the way? Not that they're not important, but a lot of them have signed 1 years, and that's pretty much it. I don't think we signed any more than a 2-year deal. I think there's only 2 contracts that we signed that are 2-year deals. And I'm not even sure if is one of those an AHL guy.
No. So all of the AHL guys signed 1 year, 2-way deals. So
Okay,
those
go ahead.
those players include the likes of Mac Hollowell, Ryan Shea, who was actually on the team last year, Jimmy Huntington, Bakanji Imama.
Yeah, your mama, Josh. Yeah,
Yeah, Imama.
our mama.
And Nathan Klurman, which I saw someone post on Twitter, X, formerly known as Twitter, my thoughts. Because Nathan Klurman, who I'm referring to here, formerly played for Colorado Avalanche. And when the announcement was made, it was a picture of him in his Avalanche jersey, and it read, "The Penguins have signed forward Nathan."
Nothing. Yeah.
And it's ... So I'm like,
McKinnon.
what?
Welcome home,
McKinnon? We just got Nathan McKinnon.
We just signed him. We
And then-
didn't trade for him.
Didn't trade for
He
him.
just left his 8-year contract and he came to
Yeah.
Pittsburgh.
And then I was like, oh, duh. Like, I need to put this down. I need to get back to work here. Because all of this goes on during the day while I'm at work. It's super frustrating, but also, like, I get it. They have, this is their job. So, like, but yeah, so those are the guys that are essentially will start the year in the AHL, but they have the 2-way contract so that if they outperform in the AHL, we have an injury, something, one of these guys or someone that's already signed can come up and fill in as needed. But in terms of the NHL players, like Louie said, all these guys, they signed a 2-year deal or less. So the 1-year deals were Matt, how do you say this guy's name? Grzelcyk?
What? Grizzly.
Grzelcyk, that guy. Grzelcyk. The defenseman
Put a little respect on his name there.
Okay. The defenseman from Boston, okay? 1 year, 1 year, $2.75 million.
Yeah.
And then we also got Anthony Boyville.
One more time. Give me one more time. One more.
Boyve.
Bolivar.
Bolivar. Yeah, that guy. Anthony Bolivar. So 1 year, I believe he's a winger. 1 year, $1.25 million. And former, essentially a re-sign, Emil Bemstrom, 1 year, $775,000. So, he kind of seems like he's one of those deals where if he goes down to the AHL, he's going to have to clear waivers. But $775,000. It's not one of those where it's super concerning. Hopefully, ideally, he gets to stay in the NHL. But those were the 1 year deals. And then the 2 year, we have Blake Lizotte. I'm going to say Blake Lizotte is his name.
Right.
Okay. 2 years, $3.7 million. Now, that is the guy everyone is kind of just penning in to the, I believe it's left wing of the bottom 6. Speed, a little bit younger, kind of essentially that MO of what Kyle Dubas was talking about in trying to get younger and faster. Now, of course, when I say younger, in terms of our team, he's younger. I believe he's like 28. So, in terms of NHL, he's like middle of the road. Yeah, middle of the road, kind of on the getting up there point. But, just kind of exactly what Dubas is looking for. So he's kind of been penned in there to that bottom 6. And then just most recently, just a few hours ago, defenseman Sebastian Aho not the Sebastian Aho
We're all disappointed.
forward
Okay.
from Carolina. This is the
We're all
defenseman
disappointed.
formerly of the Islanders. So he signed a very, very team-friendly deal of 2 years, $1.65 million. 1.55, my apologies. $1.55 million. So those were the signings. Now, we had a few trades. Actually, I think, 2 trades. I think one was right after the draft, and that was the Blues sending the Penguins Kevin Hayes and a second-round draft pick, 2025 second-round draft pick, to the Penguins for future considerations. Now, this is a fun little moment here, Lewis, because I had to Google what future considerations are. And you know what they are?
Can you break it down for us? What is it?
Yeah. It's literally nothing. Literally nothing. Literally nothing. And
I could have told you that. I thought it was nothing.
The way one person explained it in one of these articles was that future considerations just mean that when the Blues call, you answer and you probably do what they ask. Now, I'm not saying that it's like, hey, I need you to take on this $10 million contract. But it's like, hey, next deal we have, can you retain a little salary? Can you throw in a kicker of a, late round draft pick or, a depth AHL player, kind of those things where it's like, hey, I did you a favor, next deal, you get me type thing. So
now Kevin Hayes is can you give us a little detail on his contract as of right now, Josh? Did I put you on the spot?
You did, but it's okay. I think I got it from memory. I think he signed through this year $3.5 million.
Okay, so can I just be clear on one thing that Kyle Dubas has done? We have no player that is going to be here long term.
Correct. Yes, that is correct. If you notice here, the window is 2 years. 2 years. Even go back to Alex Nedeljkovic's re-sign. What was his?
2 years.
2 years. 2 years for $5 million. So I mean, we're looking short term here, and even for guys like Jari, who signed last year to a long term, Ryan Graves last year who signed long term. Guess when is like the beginning of when they can get out of the contract and be okay? Next year. So essentially, you're right. So 3 years into the deal.
So what's going on with Dubas's thought process here? So he clearly said he wants fast.
I can tell you exactly what it is. I can tell you exactly
what's going on in that
because what's coming down the pike in 2 years. Evgeny Malkin is the first to be done. 2 years, his contract's up. He's probably going to retire. He's gone.
Year after that,
Chris Letang, his contract's up. He's probably gone. So Josh, I think what is going to happen is, I know everyone wants this like huge contract extension for Sidney Crosby. I don't even think that. I think it's going to fall. I think it's going to follow the same MO. I think it's going to be a 2 year to match Malkin, to finish the same time as Malkin, and then leave it up to Crosby. Do you want another year and do this again with Letang?
No
and
way.
If he said yes, because that third year,
I don't want to believe it.
Listen, that third year, that's when that rebuild will officially start, because by then we should have Braden Yeager called up. We should have Owen Pickering called up. We should have, oh my gosh, I'm blanking on the guy that we got from Carolina who's supposed to be the coveted prospect that we got.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know how to pronounce his name.
It's a K Kopasarov or something like that. He's supposed to be the guy who will come in that time frame. So those are the guys that are supposed to be coming around. So
I am having a little trouble swallowing all this, Josh. A little trouble. Mainly because we're not in it to win right now. it's
Yeah.
killing me. It's
Yeah.
killing me. Now listen, I know we have Sidney Crosby. We're always in a cup contending time. But if everything is 1 year deal, 2 year deal, why aren't we going all in for this year, this next year? It doesn't seem like we're going all in. So listen, I get it. 1 year deals, 2 year deals. It's smart. I understand that trajectory for Kyle Dubas. But it's not like we're signing these guys who are going to help us win a Stanley Cup for 1 year to 2 years. I thought the whole goal was to try to go for a cup at least one more time with Evgeny Malkin, Sidney Crosby, and Crystal Tang. Was that not the intention?
Yeah,
Because now I feel it's a little.
If you ask Dubas, that's his intention. But what he's doing shows otherwise. And I think his actual plan is opposite of what he said in his press conference. He said like something along the lines of, I don't want to constantly just be squeaking into the playoffs. Like, I want us to be a legitimate contender. But like, let's be honest here. Like, this team, no disrespect to these new players that are coming in. You know, it doesn't bode well for the competition that we're facing. You know,
Can I
Boston
break down the?
Yeah, just in one minute. Boston retooled and got better. Islanders are getting better. The Devils are getting better. The Rangers are getting better. The Hurricanes are getting. It goes on and on. And we are in a brutal division, in a brutal conference. So I think Dubas's his desire is to just make the playoffs, even though he's saying that to be a legit cup contender. I think his goal is to get into the playoffs and then let our generational talented leaders take us all the way, because that's the nature of the beast. Once you get in, anything can happen.
Yes, we know that, and I
last
understand.
year
Look
Florida
at Florida
took our spot.
Yep, and they made it to the Stanley Cup and got smoked by Vegas, and now they return the favor this year. They come back and they win it. Great. But let me tell you, Josh, who our roster is compared to the Florida Panthers roster, shall we? Let's play a comparison game. First line, O'Connor, Sidney Crosby, Rust.
Yeah.
Michael Bunting, Evgeny Malkin, Ricard Raquel. Our new guy, Anthony Beauvillier, Kevin Hayes, Puustinen. Blake Lizette, Lars Eller, and Noel Achari. Does that sound like a playoff team right now?
5 years ago, absolutely. Right now,
No.
I'm going to go with no.
No. So listen, I'm all for doing 1 year deals, 2 year deals. I get it. I'm with you, Kyle. But we gotta get some meat in there. We gotta get someone that can actually help us win now. Now, Kevin Hayes, he has his moments. Yes, great, cool. That's it. Matt Grzelcyk on defense, cool, great. We needed to replace P.O. Joseph. We needed to find guys to replace Harkins. But those were the only two guys we lost.
Yeah.
That was on the NHL roster was P.O. Joseph
and Carter.
Carter retired. And we all knew they were going to get replaced anyway. And Kevin Hayes is the new the new Carter, which is okay. But my point is that we only lost two guys on our NHL roster. We lost a bunch in our AHL, our two-way guys, bunch of them left. But our two NHL roster spots was Jansen Harkins and P.O. Joseph. And this is what we got to replace them to make that extra push. Tough sell. Tough sell from Kyle. But it's not over. The Penguins have been tossed in the ring. Their hat has been tossed in the ring for Vladimir Tarasenko. Apparently an offer has been made officially to Tarasenko and his agent to sign here in Pittsburgh. Josh, Is that something you even want? Is that something that sounds good to you? Does Tarasenko help this team get into the playoffs? Go.
Yeah, short answer, yes. Long answer, if this was 5 years ago, that's another guy that I would totally love.
Stanley Cup.
Even more so, yeah. Just pencil us into the Stanley Cup final, honestly. But he's an older guy now, which is weird saying because I think we're about the same age. But at the same time, he's a guy who can put the puck in the back of the net, and I think he would take the top line or the second line and bump someone like Drew O'Connor down. And I think Drew O'Connor having like his own line, you know what I mean, would be nice. And having him in the essentially top 9, I think would bode well for the overall roster, because that's kind of our weakness right now, is our wingers, which wasn't always the case. It was always our centers, like the line 3, line 4 centers, or we'll just throw random people there. But now it's our wingers, because Kevin Hayes, solid center. Say what you will about his speed and his finishing ability, but I mean he's a good passer. He's a good face-off.
Shoot the puck.
That's what you need. And then Lars Eller proved last year that he can be a very serviceable fourth-line center. So the centers are locked up. It's the wings that have questions. And Vladimir Tarasenko is exactly what you need. It would essentially drain our cap. So that's where things are, percolating in the fans, in the Twitter sphere, because you sign Grzelcyk and Sebastian Aho, who are both defensemen, and now you have all this, and you bring back Ryan Shea, you have this kind of logjam on defense. So everyone's now thinking, is the guy that we were ostracizing all year on his way out in Ryan Graves? Who knows? Or are we just going to keep them all, and we're just going to go defensive heavy into the season? I don't know, but all I know is Tarasenko would be really nice as an addition. Someone that I saw thrown out just as a fan, who is a free agent, I think for the first time in a while, Connor Sherry. Just bring him home, one last run, put him up there with Sherry, Crosby, and Rust. Come on.
I feel that. Come on. But the dude does not want to be here. Every time we brought him back, he left. He could have stayed, but he didn't. He didn't want to be here. So, listen, I don't want Connor Sherry. I really think maybe in our next episode we take a look at who's available, who's someone that the Penguins can really kind of add to this team to kind of make it a verified playoff team. I'm not talking to Stanley Cup winner, because we all know nothing is guaranteed. Look at Edmonton. But look at teams that just get in there and then the magic happens. So as Josh said, and obviously apparently what's going through Kyle Dubas' mind is, let's just make that playoff push, and then that's get it.
And that's why someone like Tarasenko is a possibility now, because he has won a second cup. So he's now he's
done.
He's done. So if he just wants to play hockey, score, be on a line with Malkin or Crosby, I mean, this is the place to do it. I'm just saying. And like everyone always says, you never know what happens once you get into the playoffs. And when you have someone like Crosby, Malkin, and Tarasenko, and then you got EK65 and Chris Letang on the back line, I mean,
we're putting together a 2013 All-Star team.
Absolutely.
We're putting if this team was in 2013, disgusting. But
which is funny, because we said the same thing last year with Riley Smith.
Yeah.
When we brought him in.
Oh yeah, which we forgot to mention. We shipped
Yeah.
Riley Smith to the New York Rangers for 2 draft picks, and we celebrated in the Penguins Discord. We celebrated. We said, thank you, Jesus, for getting rid of Riley Smith. He didn't want to be here. Good riddance. And we said, just for 2 draft picks? Wow. Cap space is fill like, oh man, thank you. And then all of a sudden, Elliot Friedman posts that tweet minutes after he posts the trade. Pittsburgh is retaining 25% of the contract, which still is 1 point something million.
1.25.
Don't like it. I don't want any remnants of Riley Smith on this team anymore. Dubas, I'm a little disappointed. What I would have said was, just give me the 5th rounder. I don't need the 7th rounder. I don't want to retain anything.
Just one last thing to wrap up this episode in terms of these short-term contracts. 3 things come off our books next year. Riley Smith, Jeff Petrie, and good old Jack Johnson.
Oh,
they all come off the books next year. So we'll be done paying them.
Will we have any other people?
No. That's what I'm saying.
Debt-free in 2025. Let's make it happen. Guys, thank you so much for watching this episode. Like I said, there's more to come. You can catch us on all social media platforms at Pens Collective. You can join our Discord, Discord/The Penguins Collective. We're on YouTube. We're everywhere. Make sure you give us a follow. We appreciate it. A lot of offseason. The Pittsburgh Penguins are making moves, and so is the Penguins Collective podcast. So stick around. Stay tuned. We'll see you guys in the next episode. And Josh, as always,
let's go Pens.